Okay, we are live. Welcome everybody to this week's live stream painting demo. My name is Eben Schumacher, and just do this every week if you're just joining us on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And basically just depending upon the week, I'll pick a theme, or one of the audience will pick a theme, or one of the people that follows my work. So if you have any ideas, if you're watching this for the first time, or if you're checking this out, feel free to leave a request in the comments, and I'd be happy to tackle your request in one of the following streams. So actually, for today's piece, I did get a request from hey Danny, nice to see you here. Yeah, I did get a request from someone who follows me on who actually follows these streams regularly. He asked if I could do a stream about how I would incorporate a character into a scene, or like how I would place one, or put it in the right context. So I'm just gonna be delving a little bit into that. I don't really have a concrete plan as to what I'm going to do with this piece right now, but I'll try to incorporate a character in there somehow, and maybe talk a little bit about what I'm thinking about as I do that. So as per most of the streams, I'm just going to kind of start out with something. Maybe I'll even start out in grayscale for this one. That could be kind of interesting. It's not something I do often. Actually, let's just get a solid base. Get a solid base, like a medium dark gray, something like that. Just make sure my brightness is up here. I do get a little bit of glare from the window behind me, because I always do this during sunset. I actually it occurred to me that it might be better to do this earlier in the day, because a lot of I think there's some people that are following this in different time zones, some in European time zones, and that might work better for them. I see a lot of people popping in and saying they're just about to go to bed and that kind of stuff. So if that's something that interests you, or if you would like to see this stream happen at a different time, or something that works better for you and your schedule, just go ahead and leave a comment or shoot me a message, and I'd be happy to take that into consideration. So yeah, here I'm just kind of starting in with some loose textural stuff here. Not really sure how all this is going to come together at this point, but just kind of keeping an eye on my thumbnail up there, seeing if anything sort of popping out or forming. I'm kind of loosely starting to form kind of a spiral shape here for my composition. Not sure how that's gonna be expressed here. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe doing something like noon Eastern Standard Time, so that way it's people in the US would be able to basically, we only cover 3 time zones here, so that's like it's like 9 in the morning at the earliest for some people, and then other people east of us could also tune in as well. So maybe I'll think about doing that. Switch up the brush a little bit here. I try to use a variety of different textures. Thinking maybe this is where our character can go. You know, I usually so I mean, you know, let me talk a little bit about why I sort of chose this spot, and I might change it too, but you know, their head is kind of roughly sitting on the one of the third quadrants here, and the head is always a strong focal point here. I mean, likewise, this other thing that is happening in the background here. These lines are all over the place. I'm not sure what's going on with this brush, but there we go. This is kind of sort of in the same position on the other side. That's like your basic character environment setup. I think it's pretty reliable. Sometimes it can get a little stale, or for me, I feel like if I follow it too rigidly, I don't know, I feel like it sort of stagnates my work a little bit, and I'm always trying to push myself to make stuff outside of my my comfort zone. So what if this was just a giant dragon? That'd be kind of cool. Might think about that. That would really sell the scale of it. Maybe a tree over here. Let's bring out this rake brush here. This could be kind of fun. I almost feel like this person could be hiding or something from this giant thing. So maybe they're crouched behind a tree or something here. We'll have some other growth happening there. This one's kind of it's a little crazy, but you know, it just adds in some interesting texture. This one's kind of fun. And like I said, I don't really know totally what I'm going for here, but just creating some suggestions. This person is sort of bracing against the trees, sort of looking around, kind of peeking about. I always start with this it's kind of like a hood shape. That's just kind of how most heads sort of look as a silhouette, you know, at a low resolution. You can always make a little nick for the chin or something, and depending upon their hairstyle and things like that, it might be different, but and the direction of their head as well. Might go in a bit of a different direction with this one and actually really kind of detail out the figure a little bit. I'm getting some glare here from the window, so I'm going to switch this up. As much as I would love to be getting that nice evening light in here. Oh, hey, Shord. Nice to see you here. Shord is a tech master at the, oops. Just trying to put this in my my other window here. At Evident. So welcome. Glad you're intrigued. We'll see where this goes. So yeah, while I'm working forward through this and kind of fleshing out some of these shapes and getting an idea for how the overall composition is going to look, I'm also just thinking about, like, you know, the story elements I've set up and how they're going to be interacting. You know, everything about, like, how this from how this pose is set up to where it is in the frame to, like, our perspective on this character. You know, at this point I could still make some adjustments and sort of make it look like we were looking down, you know, from above here, or I could sort of make it look like we were looking up at him from below, depending upon how I set up this silhouette. So that's kind of a decision I'm thinking about right now. The top-down view can be really kind of fun and dramatic. I actually think I'm just going to merge these. Actually, I'm going to merge all this together. I might actually end up going for that, because that's always kind of a fun way to push yourself, you know. If you're really used to a particular viewpoint, just sort of mix it up, push yourself outside of that comfort zone. Maybe this guy's kind of holding onto a branch or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe it was better before. I'll probably go back over and sort of work out a lot of the more figural elements once I get these basic shapes plotted out. Can sometimes be a bit difficult doing that from a silhouette, but it's definitely good practice to do that. I'm not even sure if this character is entirely human. I just kind of gave him some weird head spikes, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I'm just kind of mapping out the form a little bit too. Maybe I'll change up the silhouette so they're kind of a little more hunched over. Maybe sort of crouching down here. Yeah, it's a little more difficult to do this when you're just sort of sketching out different values. I mean, I guess it depends upon who you are. It's definitely easier for me to map out a figure like this when I'm just straight drawing it. You know, drawing out the outlines and the different components and stuff like that. So maybe I'll just sort of leave this for now and come back to it. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of I've been been playing a lot with these Magic the Gathering cards a lot recently, and I just love. It's funny. I'm actually like, because I'm following a lot of Magic the Gathering artists on like ArtStation and that kind of thing. I'll see their work on ArtStation, and then I'll see it on a card, and I'll be like, "That's the guy! Like, I've seen that." And it's just incredible. I love all that stuff. It's just some really incredible artists doing that work, and it's almost a shame that they end up so small, on the card. But I think I want to lean a bit more towards human on this guy. I'm not quite ready to throw some alien elements into this picture. But he's a bit sort of chimp-like at the moment. So I'm just going to kind of play off that pose, And that'll kind of inform the kind of character he is, Even if he does get hair and clothes and all this stuff, this pose is still gonna communicate certain information to the viewer about the character and their personality, their style, all that kind of stuff. And I kind of like the effect here. I'll probably have some light coming from the top here down this way, kind of highlighting the back of the silhouette there. Probably a different temperature light than I have over here. I'm not sure yet what my base lighting temperature is going to be, but we'll figure it out. Usually it's just something like, warm on cool or cool on warm. As long as there's some kind of warm-cool dichotomy, that'll really help to create a nice dramatic effect. So at this point, yeah, this is looking like some kind of forest or something like that, and there's a big creature in the background. I don't know if you guys see it yet, but I think I want to have this guy kind of. I want this. I want to be sort of looking down on this guy, so I'm gonna sort of have this tree branch out a bit in a slightly different way. Kind of have it sort of break up and sort of fan out towards the bottom. I just want to change up the perspective here. It can be really difficult sometimes to sort of switch up the perspective sort of halfway through a piece, but sometimes you'll just get this inclination to do so, and you gotta go with it. Go with your gut. maybe I'll have, sort of reinforce that perspective, I'll have some other trees sort of going up out in different directions here. I've been seeing a lot of great artwork with this kind of top-down view, and it can be really cool when it's done properly. I can't say I have too much experience with it, but I try. Maybe we'll have sort of a path that goes down this way, winds down around. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a little easier, I think, to plot out a lot of these decisions in grayscale instead of just jumping right into color. Sort of helps to narrow the focus a little bit. This path going down. Brighten up these steps as they get closer to the light. Something like that. So we have a path now. We have a number of ways we can get through this composition. You know, if we come in anywhere around here, we can follow this pathway down. That'll lead us right to this guy. Or we can come in through here, and that'll lead us to this guy, sort of our secondary focal point. Anywhere around here can bring us in this way. And of course, the sort of implied relationship between this character and this one. There's the eye line. Well, that's coming in this way. So, oh, gotta sneeze. All right, excuse me. I'm gonna grab some water here. Yeah, but I'm liking this. It's kind of it's got a bit of a spooky vibe. And I haven't even added colors yet, so here we are. I'll probably plot out some big perspective shapes here. It'll sort of just help me sell the viewpoint. I do like doing this top-down viewpoint. Sometimes you can just sort of make these sort of shape lines that don't really, even if you don't keep them, they'll just help you guide the perspective a bit. Help to kind of communicate what angle you're viewing this from. Just gonna flip this, see how it looks. So very kind of disorienting. It is starting to feel as if we are sort of looking down a bit. So and that's another interesting visual aid that you can use, is in this situation we're actually using kind of the implied force of gravity to pull the viewer into this area, which is kind of a neat little trick. So if he's looking down, this beast's head is probably going to be facing up. So I'll be thinking about that as I work this out. Maybe it's kind of walking along down below. Some kind of giant forest spirit or something. We have some birds up here. This little mark up here kind of made me think of that. Have some birds flying around. That's more of a note than anything. I just want to remind myself to to put some birds in there or something. Maybe they'll be coming from the other direction. Whoops, I don't want to erase. You know what? I have a bird brush. Let's just throw that in there. This is actually from the Evident brush pack. So there's a lot of useful, very specific brushes like that. Of course, I don't have all of them. Whoops. What's this? I don't know. Well, we'll just say those are our birds for now. Those are feathers, apparently. Many birds. Ooh, look at that. Ugh. So many birds. I love this. It's really not really not a very important detail here, but awesome. Okay. I want to refine the form of this creature a bit. So I'm actually just gonna take a because like I said before, it's gonna be sort of easier for me to map things out when I'm sketching them. So I'm just gonna sort of think about the muscles and everything that are going into this creature and its movement. Maybe the other hand is kind of curled up here. about to take a step. I don't want to keep it as simple as possible too. I want these shapes to read clearly from a distance too, so I'm keeping an eye on the navigator there. I'm probably gonna take this leg and copy and paste it. Kind of mess around with the positioning a little bit. Seeing if there's a better spot. I kind of like that. It has a bit more stability to it. I think it kind of looks like a tree itself. You know, it has some firmness in its body language. So here we go. Sort of connect some of these areas and keep the sketching going. It seems to have some kind of horns here, and then kind of a long, smooth neck. Some kind of spiky ridge thing happening on its back. That's pretty much all the information we need. I'm just gonna sort of I have these I'm sorry, I have these pen nibs that get kind of scratchy on here sometimes, so I have to file them down. It's not like a fun kind of scratchy either. It's like a sort of a not fun kind. Just giving this guy some awesome muscles here. Sort of loosely following the human equivalent here, but also bearing in mind that these legs are sort of built for a bit of a different style. It might be more kind of like a dog leg. It doesn't have quite as developed of biceps or anything like that. Or forearms as well. Maybe I'm overthinking it. These are good things to be considering with your creatures as well. You know, what kind of environment do they occupy? What kind of role do they have to play? Kind of this guy looks kind of peaceful but powerful. Or maybe he's not. Maybe he'll become some kind of demon thing, demon cow. He's starting to look a bit like a cow. I'm just gonna kind of roll with that look. The digital pen doesn't need sharpening. Yes, you're right. You're right about that. truthfully, I shouldn't have to be sanding it down so it doesn't scratch like that. I think I just ended up buying sort of a cheap setup. So, I guess the hunt for a good tablet goes on. I would love to get a Intuos Pro. It's not quite in my budget at the moment, but I'll get there. That would be cool. But yeah, this pen kind of, like I said, it gets a little scratchy, and then I have to sand it down so it stops doing that. All right, this is a cool dude. I like this creature. I like what he's doing here. I'm just gonna kind of map out some of his little digits here where he's stepping. But all this down here, and we can even increase that effect now that we've kind of established his form. All this down here is, whoops, it's gonna be sort of a bit faded out. If I want to give the impression that he's very large, there's going to be some foggy things happening around his legs and all that, around his back. Yeah, I don't know if his whole silhouette is reading quite as well as I would like, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm probably just gonna start throwing some color in here, see what happens. Yes, I am using I'm using a Huon. What is it? Can't remember. It's got like this. I actually bought a cheaper Huon tablet a while back. That worked a lot better for me. I never had this scratchiness problem. This one, it's supposed to have like a paper like surface, because that's all the rage, and it's not really. It just it just kind of ends up being sort of scratchy, and then like the pen nibs I think are pretty poor quality, so they end up getting sort of eroded, and that sort of leads to the scratchiness, I guess. So I don't know. It was an interesting experiment, but I don't know if I'm gonna stick with this one. I love working on the iPad Pro. I've got one of the 12.9 inch ones with the Apple Pencil, and I love using Procreate and making stuff on there. It's I like Photoshop too, but for just simple straight up painting like this kind of stuff, it's pretty good. Problem is it's really hard to stream that. I've looked into it a bit. I couldn't really find anything that was really of decent quality. So here we are. Yeah, I like using Photoshop. Really, it's just you are limited by sort of lower quality drawing tablets. All right, yeah, I said I was gonna throw some color in here, so let's make a new layer, set it to color. I usually, like I said, I usually don't work this way, but it's a great way to just get the ball rolling on the color. So I think let's just start putting it in. I'm not being super discriminating about it. I do want to leave some variation too, which is why I'm not coloring that completely blue. Um, there's going to be some, I imagine there's some warm light hitting around here in this path. Whoops, whoa, that's crazy. Bit too intense. There's some more light hitting up here, and then as you go further down, there's just more more atmospheric light, which tends to be blue, unless there might be some direct light on the sky. I'm not totally sure how I want it all. Let's see how that would look. Yeah, the Wacom, that's like the industry standard. I wanted to see if I could find something that's more of a cheaper alternative, you know. But I don't know. I don't know if that ended up working out too well. I mean, I'm sure if you did enough digging, there's plenty of alternatives. You don't have to go for the best there is out there, but yeah, I've heard those are pretty good. Never tried one myself, but yeah, so that's just some base color to get the ball rolling here. I'm still not totally satisfied with this pose. Let me actually just gonna make a copy, merge these together. Not sure exactly how I want this whole thing to read, but I'm kind of looking up at the navigator to see. I'm just like totally messing up this guy's face here. I kind of like that. I kind of like the tapered head. Definitely makes him look larger. Also kind of helps with the movement of the piece overall. So maybe I'll do something like that. I think this whole thing needs to come over a little bit, judging by the angle we're looking from. And of course I messed up all his features and everything, but that's not super important at this stage. Maybe I'll try a different pose for this arm here. Let's just do the same thing. Let's just mess around with this. This is the time to be making these kind of edits and decisions, you know. I think even just that looks a bit more stable. Or maybe we can that's kind of interesting. I'm sort of thinking about the forest spirit from Princess Mononoke. I love the way they did that creature. Hey there, Viera. Nice to see you here, as always. Just sort of talking about, what am I talking about? talking about stuff. Oh yeah, I was talking about the forest spirit from the Princess Mononoke. I thought that was really some really cool concept and artistry involved there. I'm trying to bring that same element of same kind of theme to this piece. So yeah, I'm starting to paint in with more more opaque colors here. Yes, I tend to forget what I'm talking about if I'm also painting at the same time. Still have not quite mastered the art of painting and speaking simultaneously, but getting a lot better at it. Just sometimes I'll be saying something and then I'll be painting something and the painting becomes more important and I'll just kind of trail off, as I'm sure you may have noticed. But yeah, it's, the painting is the most important, really. Yeah, I love this creature. It's like a giant, like, badger, deer, bear thing. I don't know. Aaron plays, yeah. Yeah, it's a very particular skill. Maybe I wish I could communicate better that this is a hand. Maybe I'll sort of think about where this arm is and maybe have this sort of coming out here. That's not right. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. About to take a step here. It's pretty close. It's not quite there, but I'll probably have to move that up. Something. Stretch it out, maybe. It looks a little better. It's like you're taking a step forward. Let's just take this whole line that forms the plane shift there. And I'll just kind of whoops. Just kind of fade that out a little bit. Or a lot. That looks pretty weird too. Okay, scrap that. Hmm. Maybe I'll just go back to hand sticking out here. Maybe that's what made the most sense. So we'll just keep that for now. Let's move on to other things. Yeah, I did want to have maybe a little warm light hitting. Hey there, Jose. Nice to see you here. Just gonna create some little highlight things here. Let's sort of start to create the suggestion of light, maybe some dappled light sort of heading around here. Maybe not quite that intense, but and then maybe some that's hitting the floor down there, just some warmness. I mean, my values are kind of all over the place right now, but I'm just still sketching things out, figuring out what's gonna go where. Maybe I don't like having all those highlights there. I kind of liked it as the silhouette. Let's see how far my history will let me go. I guess it's not that important. I'll just kind of go over it. All right. Let's work in some other areas here. Start to include some blue reflected light from the sky. I'm just going to switch up this brush. Dull it down. Lower the value. That's a bit intense for now, but you can always dial it back later. we have some dappled sunlight around here. I'm actually just gonna zoom out while I do all this because I'm sort of losing sight of some of the overall color and value synchronization here. Just want to make sure everything is meshing well together. There's going to be a little bit of warmth here on this character as they sort of look down. Yes, yeah, this is definitely yeah, definitely a bit of a different atmosphere than I usually do. Not totally sure how it's all going to work out at this point, but we shall see. This guy's looking more like an alien every day, aren't we all? Highlight here. Get some nice warm greens going where all this foliage is. Some greens, maybe some reds, where all this bounce light is happening. We don't want to forget our darker values here as well. All this stuff is a bit too bright for the corner. But we can have more of that stuff happening here. Highlights coming through. So we're just popping in here. Maybe this guy's not in completely direct light here. We'll see. Looks like he's just kind of stepping down. Maybe there's I don't know. I steal that sky, reflective sky color, so I can put that on these steps going down. think I'm starting to establish a bit of a mood here. Just gonna sort of cut off the bottom of the stairway so these steps don't form a tangent with the edge of the page. It's just nice to have some overlapping things too. Throw in some of that warm green to balance things out. Yeah, I think I got a little too wrapped up in the details of that that creature down there, which happens to me all the time, pretty much every time I try to do a painting. I end up getting sucked into some small detail that doesn't totally matter too much at the moment, at least. You know, you can always go back and adjust things like that, but really at this point I just want to be setting the overall mood and making sure everything's working together. Yeah, it's starting to look pretty cool. I like this all right, I'll see you later, Vieira. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, feel free to check the video out at any time. I'm feeling this might end up being a 2-part video, but maybe not. I try to keep it to 2 hours, you know. It's about as long as I can sit down and do this for without a break. But I don't know. I've still got 50 minutes left in that, so I'm starting to see maybe there's some potential for this to get to a roughly finished state by that time. We will see. We will see. I'm really liking how this lighting is starting to come together over here. I think this looks really good. Just how it's focused. I'm not sort of applying it equally throughout this whole area. It's very targeted to this one region, and then it kind of fades out, and as it fades out, it fades into these nice reflective sky tones, these blues and grays, and that kind of stuff, and blue greens. I can throw some of that stuff in here, so it's really cool. Yeah, everywhere where that light is not hitting things, there's gonna be a lot of these cool blues and blue greens. Just creates this really nice nice dynamic contrast here. You'll probably have some foliage here too. I don't want this to look too much like it's just this barren forest. Although maybe I'll keep some of the creepy atmosphere of it. I'll use this. This is a nice foliage brush. It's just very, very simple, just small triangles. But you can use it for a lot of different stuff. Create texture. Mess around with some of these Greg Rutkowski brushes too, as you know I love to do. So much fun. Just gonna keep an eye on the navigator, make sure I'm not going too bright with this stuff here, but we can always balance it out by putting it over here. It's a good balance on these steps too. Getting into a bit more of the detailed stuff. Maybe some cracks and crevices along these rocks here. That's always a fun part. Just thinking about all the rocks I've ever seen in my life, and how what kind of cracks and things they have, how that material works. This brush is really nice because it leaves behind this textural trace too. So it's not just a flat sort of clean color. Still just keeping it pretty loose around some of those areas where it's not totally important to embellish anymore. Sort of creating some shadow areas around these steps too. It helps to define their individual forms. Don't want to overdo it though. I think I'm almost overdoing it. Yes, you are correct in seeing the Magic the Gathering vibes here. I said it earlier on the stream here that I've been playing a lot with those cards and checking out the artwork, and seeing a lot of the artists that do the cards popping up on ArtStation as well. So that's always a pretty neat connection. And yeah, I've just been super inspired by by all the work they do, and it's all really pretty amazing. Alright, now that we've kind of fleshed some other stuff out, I think this is all maybe a bit too spiky. It'd be nice to, I'm just going to go in with the smudge tool and sort of lose some of these edges. I think it got a little out of control with the texturing there. I don't want to keep, I don't want to have so much focus in places like this. I'm really not too concerned about keeping the forms or anything. I just want there to be a bit of variability. Maybe that was probably overkill. Let's zoom in and see what this guy's doing. Maybe not too much, but I gotta give him some kind of definition, you know. I'm not sure what he's doing here. So I'm just gonna sketch a little bit. Maybe I'll have him come down like this, so he's sort of sitting. Sort of, yeah, like I said earlier, kind of ape-like, and maybe that will be his role here. It's all looking a bit weird though, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little better for the head shape. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out some more how I'm gonna define this guy, what his role is. Is he just looking? Is he getting ready to attack? We're not sure here. Nobody knows. I'm gonna switch to something maybe a bit sketchier so I can just some sort of little forest golem or something. Let's throw some purple in here. Maybe sort of suggest some some skin tones in the shadows. Not really sure what this guy's doing. Make some dappled light happening here. Sort of take that and blow it up a little bit. And then, let's see, everywhere else, I'll give it a bit of a shadow tone where that light's not totally hitting. Maybe not quite that cool. It'll be more of a gray, really. Yeah, I mean, what else can we, how can we make this guy unique? Right now he's just sort of a dude. Just has a dude shape. And some dude muscles, you know. Sort of. I'm not quite getting the anatomy right here, but yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure what he is. Maybe he's got some weird, I don't know, like markings or something to contrast with the light that's coming down. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit too much. I might just let's grab that shadow color and bring that in here. I might just leave him for the moment. Work on some other stuff while that idea is brewing. Create some more defined shadows around this tree as well. Is he human? It's a great question. Are any of us human? No. I am leaning towards no right now. He's got some kind of weird ape golem thing going on. And part of that is just me kind of being lazy and not giving him any other features. But I don't know. It could be an interesting angle here. His arm's in kind of a weird position. I'm gonna change that. I don't know if that improved things at all. Let's see. And sometimes I just totally don't know what I'm doing. Huh. All right. This is kind of cool. I'm starting to see now that the light is sort of hitting this creature a little bit down here, but it's not going to be quite as intense as it is up at the top. His head's just sort of poking in from the side. Maybe he's red. Maybe there's some red furry things going on there, but it's not going to be super vivid from this distance. It's actually going to be more of a violet because of the atmosphere and everything. But from a distance, it's kind of convincing. Sort of looks like he's red. Yeah, I never figured out quite what I was doing with this arm. I guess I'll move it forward like this. I think that was the original pose. I think I just messed with it too much. Maybe I'll move the whole arm forward. That's kind of better. We'll have some stretchiness going on here, and a little compression of this shoulder muscle. Yeah, time to dive back into that Aaron Blaise course and start brushing up on my creature anatomy. I think it's not coming to me right now, but it'll be enough for this piece, I think. I want to have really glowy eyes. Let's just because this seems like a fun thing to do, I'm just going to kind of spend a little time carving out this face here. Just because it seems like it would be a lot of fun. I feel like I've said that in other videos, you know. Sometimes just to keep yourself moving, you have to work, not necessarily in the sequence that that is best for the painting, but maybe the sequence that is best for you and your enjoyment of the process. Because sometimes get a little stuck on areas that I'm supposed to be working on. So I guess I just gotta move on to something else. That's the point. Yeah, I'm almost I sort of accidentally made these marks here, but starting to get the impression this is going to be a little bit skull-like. I'm thinking about there was this beast in what was that movie with Natalie Portman? Annihilation, something like that. It's where they have that big bubble that appears, and then they send this team of people in there, and they find all this crazy stuff happening, like with the natural world in there. And one of the things is this bear. This bear that's like its face is just sort of like this bloody bear skull, and it's that. I mean, that it really freaked me out, to be honest. That was one of the. Well, it also did. I mean, that, you know, that scene was pretty just straight up gory and a little disturbing, but I thought it was a pretty interesting concept. Anyway, I'm just sort of drawing from that right now. This sort of skull-like protrusion at the front here, something like a deer or an animal skull would have. And maybe that's kind of this creature's thing, is it's sort of like part dead, or I don't know. There's a lot we can work with here. Hello, Ivy. Nice to see you here. I don't think I've seen you in the streams before, so welcome. I was just sort of talking about this creature here and what kind of things we can do with it. Sort of, maybe it has these sort of some fangs or tusks going out, something, I don't know. Let's flip it, see how it looks. Yeah, I think I kind of overdid the highlights down there, so I just want to dial it back just a little bit. Let's bring this horn back in. Thank you. Yeah, feel free to spread the love and support as much as you desire. Always looking to have some more people popping into these videos and following along, asking questions. The more the merrier, really. Yeah, this is definitely this sort of started out as sort of a forest spirit guardian, maybe more of a benefactor. Oh, hey there! Wow, we got a handful of new people popping in on YouTube. That's great. Thank you so much. Huh, very strange. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure what you did, but there's there's bread and hearts popping up there. on the YouTube. I'm streaming to YouTube and Facebook, so you guys on Facebook, this may sound very confusing to you, but yeah. Lots of comments rolling in here. I'm not sure what's going on, but hey, can't hurt the algorithm. Lots of bread and hearts. Do I know who Jesper is? I do not. We come from Ivy's channel. Oh man. Well, thank you, Ivy, for for spreading the love. I really appreciate it. It's wasn't sure what was happening there. I thought I was being attacked by Russian bots. Yeah, this is great. Glad to have you all here. I'm glad you all are pleased with the work. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't. I don't think I've checked out Ivy's channel. What kind of stuff do you put up there? You're an artist as well? All right, thanks so much, General Jedi, something like that. Yeah, this is cool. It's getting a little spooky here. With this creature, it almost looks a bit like a demon or something now. Let's get some blue going on the horns down here. Animation, very cool, very cool. I'll have to check it out. I'll look you up after this stream, and thanks thanks so much for sharing. Hey there, Cash. Welcome to the Facebook stream there. And yeah, thank you. I'm kind of liking this one so far. I like the. I wasn't so sure at the beginning where this was going, but here we are. It's not. Yeah, I gotta make sure this light source is clear here. So I'm putting in some reds. Let's bring back some of those reds. Maybe have some coming in on the horn here. Yep, and then maybe have some cast shadows going along here. Dark Souls. You know, I've heard so much about that game. I feel like it has this huge cult following, and I've been meaning to check it out. Looks like there's some really crazy artwork behind it. Maybe I'll see if I can look up some of the artwork, because I just I don't really have too much time for video games anymore, but every now and then I'll dive into one, and if I were to, I'd probably do the Dark Souls things. I've heard some really good stuff about it. going on down here? Let's have some, just a bit more warmth, a bit more highlights. Maybe just along the, around the eye here. On this horn. This one too. And around here, maybe sort of just coming through the canopy like that. I'll have some patches showing up here and there on his back. Yeah, maybe, you know, just going with the whole skull aesthetic. Actually, I just want to make some little lines here for a minute. Sort of draw out some things. Maybe we can just get a little weird with it. Start getting some reds in here. Ah, I love that. I don't know where they're coming from or why they're there, but it's definitely an image forming here. And you know what, why not? Let's just throw some really stark white highlights. Just to see how it looks. Might not float, but yeah, it's a bit strong for that distance. But maybe we could make it work. I do want to have a lot of contrast around there. Here's let's see, what can I do? I need to raise the shadow values here. So what can I do? There are a lot of ways to do this. I'll try this. Sure, why not? Let's see what this does. Well, huh, interesting effect. I kind of dig it. Let's try that again. I'm just using the wand tool here, just to sort of lighten some of these shadows. That's kind of cool. I don't know. Just gonna sort of accent some of these bonier areas. I kind of like how you don't even really know what's happening in the shadow area. It's just sort of there. Maybe I'll even blur it out a little bit. Let's see how that works. Just create that contrast between those sharp areas and the whoa, going a little overboard here. Well, that's kind of cool. I could do sort of like a, what's that thing called, a ibex, something like that. Just have to correct the orientation of this one. Yeah, this thing's pretty weird. I think the scale is reading well, though. Might just sort of tone down some of these highlights with a warm color. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just articulate one of these claws, but leave the others obscured. Find some areas to create clear definition amongst the lost edges. Maybe there's some green things happening down on the forest floor there. Some trees catching the light. I'm actually going to take this head, just move it a little bit. Yeah, I still think this highlight is a bit overblown. I'm just gonna dial it back a little bit. I think I just made it worse. Oh well. Maybe I'll just let it be. Well, that's kind of interesting. All right, yeah, we got some cool stuff happening here. Probably approaching the time when my creative output is not gonna be optimal, because I've been sitting for a while. But I'll probably just do another 10 minutes of work on this one, and you know, maybe I'll go in for another swipe at this next week or sometime this week. If that's something you would want to see, if you want to see this piece taken into a more of a refined, finished state, doing some detail stuff like that, feel free to drop a comment and let me know. Sometimes I do break these down into 2-part series, or I'll just do kind of a one-off for whatever I can do in 2 hours. But you know, I'd say at this point this is a pretty I'm a big fan of this idea. I think it needs a lot of refining if I were to, you know, present it to anyone or for a client or anything like that. But I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting, and sort of like where it's going. Doing some textural stuff here. Can make some leaves up here in the top, around the edges too. Just really loose. I'm also just going to kind of modify this leg a little bit just to make it look like he's sort of sitting and not just growing out of the out of the turf here. And then we'll have some. Let's make some of these triangles with this highlight color. I think that would look nice. Let's even bump it up a little more. Get some more colorful things happening here. Over here as well. Maybe we'll take some of that nice shadow green and throw it in here. A little more intense because it's close up. That's kind of cool. love to see more of that down here, actually. Maybe we'll just tone this down and just throw some textural stuff down here. I think that looks pretty good. What can we do to, let's give this guy's for a little bit more definition. Maybe some sort of skeletal rib cages here, something like that. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I think this guy needs a bit more development. But I think it looks pretty cool for now. Sort of just looks like a giant rat or something. Maybe we'll even we'll just push this blue out a little bit more. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, that's all in a different layer. I see. And yeah, for some reason it keeps selecting the eraser when I go to the soft round. Just want some nice strong blueness happening. Something like that. Maybe that's overkill. Yeah, it definitely is. But you get the idea. We'll try a little rake brush here. I think he's lost some of his form definition here, so I'm just gonna copy paste. Let's warp this up a little bit. Give him a bit more of a ridge to work with here. That looks kind of cool. I actually really like the way this sort of tapers off back here. So we can just use that. Maybe sort of fade out the end. Fade out these bits. All right. Well, I'm pretty ready to call this done for today. I'm just gonna do a quick levels adjustment here because I'm working. As you can see, this is a great habit to get into, but I was working with a really narrow range of values, and I probably should have caught that earlier. But you know, that's something you can change at any time, really. And so I'm actually just gonna pop that up, get a nice level of contrast. Those colors are really popping off now. I would love to see some more reds and things like that in here, but yeah, I think this has got some good mood. It's got some nice dynamic lighting. There's interesting story. I don't even really know what's going on here. I think, as I move this piece forward, I'm probably going to think about making some clarity in the detail. And the anatomy here is just sort of, it's a little wonky. Same with the creature there. So I'd probably spend a bit more time working on those and getting the lighting right and everything. But yeah, I think for now this is nice, and thank you all for popping in here tonight. We got some a sudden influx of people coming in on YouTube from Ivy's channel, so thank you, Ivy, for that, and thank you for introducing all those people to this stream here. And also we got some great regulars coming in on Facebook. Got Jose and Kaj and Nick and Vieira, and so thank you guys for tuning in as usual, and keep an eye out for the next stream. All right, hope you all have a